Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are back after a not brief hiatus to in a way, a new season of the Leo Lens podcast. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Sakshi.
And Sakshi, you want to do this. Tell the audience what we were supposed to talk about today and what we will actually talk about.
Of course. So Nathan and I, keeping in mind what our viewers love, we were like, hey, let's do an episode on resolutions, like what we think about it, what our resolutions are for this year and everything. But then Nathan opened LinkedIn. I don't know why, but Nathan opened LinkedIn. And we just started ranting about how strongly we feel about LinkedIn. And we were like, we're not seeing the resolutions as much. Let's do the LinkedIn episode today. We really want to go off on LinkedIn.
We got fired up for this. And how do you want to do this? Because we decided we were fired up enough to talk about, but we don't actually have we didn't script out anything of what we wanted to talk about. We just decided we wanted to roast LinkedIn for 45 minutes. This might be a shtick.
Let's do it. Okay, so I'll start off by introducing what LinkedIn is.
Yes.
Because I don't want to assume that all of our listeners go to business school because
it is very business school, American university centric.
Exactly. So LinkedIn is like this networking website. It's social media of some sorts, I would say. But it's like this place where you professionally connect with people and then instead of your photos showing up on your feed, it's like a bunch of people's professional announcements. Hey, I got, this internship I'm working this summer, or hey, I'm so excited to announce that I got this full-time job. But people don't just stop. They just don't stop. It doesn't stop at the announcement. They post thank yous and then they post stuff as if it's their personal diary. And I'm ready to pop off, Nathan, whenever you are.
Yeah, so I think we already hinted at part of the issue. It is American university business student centric.
Yes.
Which means I'll have friends in engineering. So for reference, we're both students at the Ohio State University in the business school. I'll talk to friends outside of it, and they obviously they're seniors and they have no connections, they haven't networked, and they don't have a LinkedIn, which is kind of one of the only benefits business school gives us is sort of networking. I feel like we're better plugged in for internships. Meanwhile, we in one of our classes have to make for grade a LinkedIn profile, but that just means the only people you see on LinkedIn are business. It is very business bro.
Very alpha male.
Alpha male, startup mindset, grind set. I heard the term this morning. It was Patagucci, which is tech business bros wearing Patagonia for the brand.
Oh my God.
Right? It is very that type of crowd.
Yeah, it's a very exclusive community, but not exclusive in the sense that you should aspire to be in it. Exclusive in the sense of it literally excludes so many groups of people.
Yeah, I will be the first. I have a profile.
I
got to you only have it only says 500 connections.
Which you are very proud of.
I'm very proud because I hit that and then I can oh, I'm done. I filled out the profile, so I never have to touch this again.
So for those of you who don't know, I think it's a big thing for a lot of LinkedIn users to want to hit 500 plus connections, because until you hit 500, it literally shows the number of connections you have. But then once you hit 500, it just says 500 plus.
Yeah.
So it's oh, you're so cool, 500 plus people, when they think that when somebody else sees their profile and it's yeah, it's oh wow, this person has probably networked with 500 plus people, which is literally not the case. I have seen people add friends of friends of friends who are in no way connected to them professionally or even in real life. But hey, we just want to reach the 500.
Because I've said, I don't know how much I've talked about on the podcast before. Of course, privately, I'm ambitious for future business plans.
I think our podcast listeners also know by now.
They maybe caught on.
Because this is not a parasocial relationship.
We're friends. So, I'm looking at this. I can name a few, I know him. For reference, we have my LinkedIn pulled up now. I know 3 people on my first page. Who I actually know. Otherwise, it was just padding from other Ohio State students.
Yeah.
In the future, if I ever had serious I'm offering a job to a friend, I'll post it on like a private story or just text people.
You know, that is
I would
so
never
true.
share it on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I was saying this before we posted. You hit why people post because it's a lot of what here we'll pull up Sakshi's one and only post.
So when I got an internship, I posted it, and it was just to be like, hey, you know, like I've sort of embarked on my professional journey.
It's just for flexing.
Just for flexing. And it was the post. Like, I know a lot of people who like post that they have something, and then they're going to post their first day and a photo of them in front of the building. And then when the thing ends, they're going to be like, I am so excited and I cannot wait to join the office. And then a year later, they will tell us that they're joining the office. Like, do one, bestie. Either tell us you're joining the office when you're joining it, or tell us a year in advance. We don't want to see it all.
The entire platform is very, very like, there's a term online, the LinkedIn lunatics. And it is very much that type of over the top, I'm so excited, like the most obnoxious recruiting things you know. So I have the home feed pulled up. I want to slowly go through this. We won't mention names or anyone.
Of course we won't.
But
Because we're not that. It is not a parasocial community, but we're not that interested in that.
we don't want to start doxing people we have on LinkedIn. But like, it's not like
I'm laughing reading these.
yeah, this is in no way to, you know, if this is a win for them, power to them. But we're still gonna mock the way they present it because it's stupid.
It is stupid.
Like, I will be joining Macy's following graduation as part of their merchandising executive development program. What does that mean? Right? Like,
And you know what? I think the saddest thing, like, I know Nathan and I are talking about these announcements, but I don't think it's that we're making fun of the people who are making these announcements. We're just making fun of the norm. Like, why has it become, like, you know, everybody gets a job, or okay, what I mean is everybody will get a job. Like, you're going to end up doing something. I don't think we need to make such a big deal of it because it puts so much pressure on you.
we're like, yes, LinkedIn is very, you're in or you're out type of deal. There's a few other things. So, like, this one is very common. Like, I especially want to blank, and blank for the interviews and helping me with the acceptance process.
Yeah.
I am all for thanking people who help you, thank everyone around you, everyone plays a role.
Yeah.
We both have theater backgrounds.
Yeah.
My high school theater teacher always emphasized, always, the show will not happen without the ensemble.
I agree.
Every role is important, and you should thank them in public and private. Thanking your interviewers
Yeah.
who,
I don't know. I feel
it's a lot of so much.
and it's so much because like the interviewer sort of accepted you because you had the skill set. So it's like, thank you for what exactly? Like, thank you for accepting my skill set. Like, are you sort of doubting the fact that your own skill set is not acceptable and that somebody needs to be thanked for to accept you? Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's like,
I totally get the fact that you're thanking your recruiter because, you know, any recruiter is sort of like I feel like the circuit, like without the recruiter, the circuit won't happen. Like, they are the connecting point, and I totally get thanking them, but I just don't get why people thank like every person that was involved from like start to finish, you know?
Yeah.
And okay, this is something super big, but I haven't seen a lot of people thank their parents.
no,
That's very sad, isn't it?
yeah, like, it's not like you have award shows, right? Like,
Yeah.
EGOT style award shows, and it is a fairly, now I want to say, is it ubiquitous as a word? Uniform script.
Correct.
You know, a lot, you thank your family, you thank, you know, the director,
The actors you worked with, all of that.
yeah. Versus here, it is so corporatocracy, so like people who live to be ground in the system that we live in.
Yeah.
There's no mention of anything else besides that company. You
Yeah.
are loyal to this company to a fault.
And you know what? It's like, if you're loyal to this company, and if this is like okay, like initially when I joined LinkedIn, I was like, fine, everybody's corporate, everybody's like sort of talking about the same thing. There's like a uniformity to the tone, right? But recently, I'm seeing all these people be like, this is what LinkedIn expects of me. And then they'd have like 3 bullet points about networking 24/7, being active on my whatever LinkedIn account like 7 days a week or something, and then actively seeking a second income thing. Instead, I am, and then there's like 3 bullet points that won't even be bullets, they'll be like white emoji hearts, and she'll be like, I am taking a break. I am vacationing with my parents in Cancun. I am sipping on a pina colada as I type this. Like, you either stick to like how corporate the website is and follow that, or you don't do it at all. Like, I just don't get it. You know, it's like with other social media sites like Instagram and everything, like they are personal. There is nothing corporate to them. So I have never seen a person post their job offer on their story because Instagram maintains that it's like a personal thing.
There's a work-life balance, and other social media are about your life.
On
LinkedIn is only your work.
But people don't even treat it as only their work. Like, they share all these personal details about their life.
It has expanded.
It has expanded, and I find that kind of like unprofessional in a sense, because it's like, if you just want to complain about how you don't want to be following the LinkedIn norm, don't come and complain on LinkedIn, because then you are literally just following the norm. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn is like, in my view, some of the, like, all the worst parts about current American corporate work condensed into one space.
You know, I think it's the worst. I think it's very reflective of the spiritual times we live in, Nathan. Like, why have we all suddenly, why have we all come to this point where we have this need to always show people that we're doing something, you know, to like, this is the post I'm talking about. Nathan literally just opened the post. Like, okay, I'm going to read it out. I don't work. I don't go to the gym. I don't do this. I don't do that. And those are like highlighted by like these red crosses to show that she doesn't do them.
Yeah.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. And then below she says, but this is what I actually do. And it has like white heart emojis. And it's like, I took a nap. I did this. I slept in. And I'm like, bestie, this is really not the plan.
It's the bare minimum. It's like, I would be considered extremely lazy by 80% of the people here. And you know what? I'm still doing okay. I'm achieving my goals, right? So it's like, okay, that's a good message to have. You know, don't burn yourself out. The company owes you nothing. Minus your paycheck. Don't give them too much. But then her examples are, I take a 2-hour nap after work. I spend on lunch breaks, I'm on TikTok. I sleep in until 11 a.m. on Sunday. I watch movies on a weeknight. Yes? I would, like, that should be the bare, yes, you leave work and you go home and should have time to enjoy yourself.
Exactly. Like, the fact that we're posting, like, this is
that's not something that's special, that you, or it's not something that should be special to hype up.
Like, you know, like, the way this is going, like, next year people will be like, you know, 90% of LinkedIn would consider me lazy, but I eat lunch during lunchtime. I have an hour for eating dinner. Like, yes, ma'am, that's exactly what you should be doing. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And you know what I hate? I hate the fact that people who use LinkedIn think that people who don't use LinkedIn are like crazy aliens. Like, I literally, so I've taken art classes, theater classes.
Yeah.
Most of the people I know don't have a LinkedIn.
No, if you're not like a business student, at least in like young academia world where we are in, if you're not business, you don't have it.
Exactly. It's like, oh my god, she doesn't have a LinkedIn. Like, how does she breathe? Like, nah, you know, you like, I feel like there's a difference between accepting that something exists for you to make your life better, but then using that to exclude certain groups of people is just not the vibe. And I think LinkedIn does exactly that. Like, that's literally what it perpetuates. Like, it's like, oh, art people don't exist, hair people don't exist, writing people don't exist. It's only business, finance. Like, that's, and tech. That's literally all I see.
I want 2 other things I want to mention while I'm scrolling through a page. One, LinkedIn influencers are
the worst.
I don't, frankly, I mean, in a way you're gonna go, Nathan, aren't you in this, Chris?
But you're not on LinkedIn.
But I'm not LinkedIn. Like, I don't mind, like, the normal influencer. Some can be annoying. Sure. And you mentioned earlier, like, people sharing, I think that's like the social mediaification
Yeah.
of society where people always feel the need to be sharing what they're doing at that moment
Yeah.
when you should not have to. But LinkedIn influencers are ignoring all that, the worst.
Yeah.
Or within all that, still the worst, because it's always like mindset, grind set. Like, if you're on Instagram, you've probably seen like the Patrick Bateman, like, meta memes about, you clearly haven't, but
I have
looking at me.
so confused.
But it's like Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, like you're very generic. I can't even think of any, like, I wake up at 5 a.m.
I get what you're saying.
5 hours of work, and then I
Very
make coffee. Yes.
Yes.
And LinkedIn is that to an extreme, but also for middle-aged people.
That's so funny.
LinkedIn influencers are like Andrew Tate, but for middle-aged, upper middle-class white people. And versus Andrew Tate's like young demographics. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And then 2, I can't find an example of this. I'm scrolling through my home feed as we're talking. I can't find an example of it now. But I found we were talking about before we started the episode as something we wanted to talk about. Job title inflation.
Oh my God.
Like I said, I am all for people should be rewarded, X, Y, Z, all that. But LinkedIn, I feel like, and other trends within the modern economy have really spurred like I said, a job title inflation.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
very fluff, but like very fluff names.
So fluffed names. Like, the example we saw was
Tour prep intern.
We saw tour prep intern, and what does that mean? No, it probably is like a real estate term, right? Like, thinking through, like, there's still like tour prep intern. Just say you're an intern at a real estate agency. Like, what does a tour prep intern, is your job like, are you unpaid labor folding like the brochures to hand out? Like, what do you do?
It's really sad. And again, I want to like reiterate that Nathan and I aren't making fun of the people. We're just making fun of like, why has it become the norm to like flex on everything and to like think that everything has to be a big deal when it really doesn't.
That's a good way to say it. Look, the constant need to flex.
Yeah.
I have said this. I have a saying. The coolest person at a function is never the person rolling up in a Lamborghini.
That is so
the coolest person at the function is and always will be the person that rolls up in 3 black Cadillacs and gets out. Because anyone with stupid money can buy a Lamborghini. The person who unironically, not to flex, unironically shows up with their group, their bodyguards, etc., in a small convoy, that's the person, and they're never loud about it.
That's so true. That is so true. I feel like people who feel the need to be loud are the ones whose thoughts don't count.
Yes.
And we don't mean loud like volume wise, because Nathan and I are loud. We just mean like, if you feel the need to like go up to every person and for like to make conversation for the sole reason that your ego needs a little bit of a boost, I'm sorry, that's what we count as loud. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, Nathan. Honestly, it's just sad. It's just sad the point that society has come to. Like, you got a job and that's amazing. But you know what's happened in today's day and age is like, somebody gets a job and instead of wanting to tell your parents about it, like, your best friends about it or whatever, they're like, oh my God, this is going to look amazing in my LinkedIn bio.
Yes.
That's literally the first thought. And I'm not kidding. This happened to me. Like, when I was like, I got a call as they were like, hey, you've got an offer and everything. I went to my mom, obviously. But after I told her that, oh, I got this offer, I was like, oh, Mom, do you think I should put it on LinkedIn? And looking back, it's so crazy that I was so consumed by the need for everybody to know. And again, I don't think this was like my own need. Like, I don't think this is intrinsic. It was more like, oh, everybody does it, so I should also do it.
Yeah, because it starts an arms race.
Yeah.
Where you don't post your summer internship on LinkedIn. Everyone else will. Everyone else is going to talk about, oh, do you have a summer internship?
Yeah.
And it's just such it just feeds back into that. Business is so not about business.
Yeah.
And we won't get, deeper into politics or anything, but like, I think you saw that during like the pandemic. The CEOs and everything did not do anything. It was the frontline workers
who did stuff.
Use their labor to do things. This upper management business is all just patting on your back, ego stroking competitiveness.
I completely agree. And I also agree because like when you actually start working, when you go to like a place, when you go to any workplace, you notice that the higher the person's position is, the lesser they engage with LinkedIn. And it's like that exactly proves my point. There's like obviously someone who's like heading a whole business knows more people than you do, right?
Yeah.
But even though they know so many people and it's more difficult for them to be in touch with all these people, they aren't using LinkedIn. So why are you, with the 10 people you know, finding the need to be on 5,000 people's feeds?
Or they do, but it's like more, well, I think like...
But it's not like, hey, I'm on LinkedIn, and like,
yeah.
It's
like press, like I'll see CEOs basically use it for like
press
releases type. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we met earnings this year. Like, oh, once in December, they'll be like, oh, this is a time to be philanthropic. But like that isn't what runs their professional life. So it's like if somebody at that level doesn't feel the need to be so braggy, I don't know why you should.
Also, side note, we're reading through this. I'm sorry. I'll gatekeep a little here. Do not announce your roles as an officer within your fraternity. That's a whole different can of worms.
And people congratulating this person, like, congratulations on your new role. Like, okay, but you're going to leave this role a year. I just don't get it. Honestly, I might just quit LinkedIn myself once I'm in the workplace. I'm not even kidding. Like, for all those listening, you should know, and I was literally just telling Nathan this, I do not check my feed. Like, I just check my job, saying the one time they send me a Gmail about like, oh, hey, this is like a job we might... we think it's interesting for you or whatever, but I do not care what is happening in the lives of other people professionally.
No, and yeah, I do not check it. In part one, because I just hate it as a platform, but
I hate
it's the only messages you get are like AI written recruiter. I love your profile. I think you'd be a great position at $position $, and you should come work for us at $location $.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so sad. It's so sad. Honestly, like, I think there needs to be a more inclusive platform that's not only just for like businesses and stuff, but also I think people just need to learn that just because we have the ability to share doesn't mean human anonymity should no longer be a thing.
Yes.
Like, we don't need to know everything happening in your life.
No.
It's like, like when I log in and like the times when I used to see my feed, which is a long time ago, I used to see like one person commenting on every single person's post, like, thank you, or like, best of luck this, congratulations this, best of luck this, congratulations this. And I'm like, this same person has commented on 15 people's posts consecutively. I'm like, if I give you a phone right now and I give you their number, will you call them and congratulate them? If the answer is no, don't do it on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Like, why are we fake congratulating each other? Like, it's become such a like, oh, I need mommy. Like, it's like, oh, I got a job. But the job isn't the best part. You are still waiting for the validation to make it like, to ring the fact and that you got a job, which is like really sad and very unthankful.
It's the same issue that all of social media is doing to society, but just business flavored. And of course, we're business majors, have to see it, and we therefore get mad at it.
Yeah.
But I think, as we've seen, and in a lot of ways, since our last episode even, Twitter has gone down in flames, in a way. And like you said, like, I wish there was a good social media.
I think Twitter was the best, actually, because it didn't matter whether you were an art person. It didn't matter whether you ran like a Fortune 500 company. As long as it believed in your opinions, I'm going to follow you.
Yeah, its biggest benefit was the ability to bring everyone together.
Right.
Even if, as we've seen, unregulated, unmoderated, that can be the cause of the issues. But when regulated, it was the best.
But those issues are also like intellectual issues.
Yes.
Unless I'm like misunderstanding what you're saying, like I feel like when something breaks out on Twitter, it is a difference of opinion, which is something that's purely intellectual. I think the issue with the other social media is that on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, it's about photos, it's about bodies, it's about faces. And that's like, you know, that's something you can Photoshop or whatever. With LinkedIn, now it's fluff positions. Like you and I know that this position does not necessarily rank very high just because it sounds very classy. Yeah. But like with Twitter, it's purely intellect. That's not something you can influence, not something I can influence. And it's just something that's not very easy for any person to influence. Like, I feel like Twitter was never a show-off game. It was a very, like, more of like a reflection game. Like, oh, this is what I feel.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that this is how I feel because I want a certain number of retweets or a certain number of likes. I'm just saying this is how I feel because I feel my opinion should be out there in the world.
Yes.
And I think LinkedIn, Instagram, all other social media have like completely lost that sort of value. Like they just missed the point, you know?
I think, there's no good way to change any of that, but...
There is. Quit LinkedIn. No, honestly, here's the thing, okay? The other day, I was like talking to someone and this person was telling me about their uncle and like their very interesting career history, you know? And this person genuinely had like such an interesting path. And I was like, that is so cool. And you know, thinking back to it now, I know about this person's uncle even though I don't have him on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Like conversations will always happen. People will always know people.
Yeah.
And I get that LinkedIn is like an amazing platform for like finding recruiters and everything, but then we can keep it at just that. I don't know why we're like putting out our feelings and our opinions about like, you know, just everything under the sun on LinkedIn. Like, no, you know, if you want to share it, maybe call somebody up. Like, you know, I just feel like on one hand, people say, oh, this is so professional and this is like supposed to have a certain decorum. But then those same people are the ones who write like 1,000-word note on like something that affected them. And it's like,
yeah,
like, no, I don't want to read this.
This is circling back because I'll at them. Forbes posted a quote of the day. And going back to how I said, influencers on this platform are like Sigma mindset, grindset. The quote they say is, if you don't take the reins, it's going to stay the same. Nothing's going to change if you don't change it. By Dolly Parton. Queen, do not corrupt our queen who wrote 9 to 5 about how you have to claw and scrape your way through the corporate ladder and how awful it is. Mm-hmm. Do not co-opt her message to push your grind set messaging. That 9 to 5, and for reference, I'm a poli-sci minor. So I see this a lot, where politicians and politically involved individuals, take something and co-opt its message
into something completely
when it's the opposite of its message. Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 is a critique of office culture. Yes. So why are you using it on the business social media website to push corporate culture? Stop it. Knock it off. Go touch grass. I'm getting a spray bottle and spraying you like a cat.
Love that. You know, honestly, I feel like sometimes I just want things to go back to the way they were like, I don't know, 20 years ago. Like, I want to be drinking a lemonade once I'm like 50 or 60. One day I'm drinking lemonade and it's sunny and like one of my kids' friends comes over and they're like, oh my God, hi. Like,
technology was a mistake.
No, literally. I want the kid to be like, hi, like I heard you were in this job, you know, like I heard you did this when you started out working. Yeah. And then I want my kid and the kid's friend to sit next to me while we all sip on lemonade and I want to tell them about my history. Look, I honestly, I hate technology. I hate social media. Like,
can I tell a story about my dad from before history time?
Of course you can.
So my dad was a kid in the 80s, throughout the 80s. And he has a story of one day he skipped, I think it was high school. He skipped class. And of course, this is the 80s. So like pen and paper, they just marked him absent.
You know what's funny?
And that's it.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's literally what some of the professors in our business school are doing. They're literally marking attendance.
Yeah, which I don't. I think it's a Title IX federal grants for the first 2 weeks, but whatever. But he, right, marked absent, the grant's an 8, so the school's like, nah, who cares, right? And he's off scot-free, right? Your parents don't have Find My iPhone or Life 365, like, you're off.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't show up to school, high school in the 80s,
Yeah.
you're scot-free.
Yeah.
Except his mom, my grandma, had to, like, for her job, she was a government official,
Okay.
like, visited the school anyways.
Uh-huh.
Got to the school, and I don't remember the exact story, but I think it was something along the lines of goes to the front desk, and the secretary, who obviously they all know, knows my family, goes, oh, how's, my dad doing? Like, he's sick today, or what's going on? And my grandma's like, excuse me? Like, oh, well, he's not here today. And so he got caught, and he got in trouble for this.
That is
But
hilarious.
the only way to get caught in high school in the 80s was that, because you didn't have technology stalking you at every moment.
Yeah.
Which technology definitely does.
Yeah.
I know, I get. That same dad, I only have one dad, is now a marketer.
Yeah.
And I get where it's like, companies are just really, really good with bugs and SEO, and, you mention something out loud without ever searching it, and then you're given an ad for that. That's just a complex algorithms. I've stopped believing in that. They are 100% listening to us.
They definitely.
That can't go off track.
Let's talk about Hawaii or something. Like, let's actually do it right now. Like, I want to mention Hawaii
I've done
3
that.
times, and I want to see the ads once you
I have done that. Like, I have friends who are diehard, like, no, it's because you searched something and both the algorithm and you have the same thoughts after seeing what you did search.
Yeah.
Like, they can kind of predict how you'll know. I have, like, he said, like, never mentioning something before.
Let's see Hawaii. Now.
Hawaii. And
Do you want to go to Hawaii for spring break?
yeah, let's go to Hawaii.
And now
And
we
then
see.
we're going to be texting each other frantically tonight because I'm going to get a YouTube ad on this TV about Hawaii.
we're gonna tell our listeners next episode. We're gonna let you in on a secret. They listen to you, but we prove it.
We're doing this. We are scientists. Kind of. We're business students, so we actually do, like, no math and science in our degree. But we are scientists. We are doing an experiment. We'll let you know if our corporate overlords are listening to you next week.
Next week, tune in. And what's annoying about LinkedIn is that they show you what your connections like. Like, the thing I can respect about Instagram is if you like something of, like, somebody who is not your... Okay, if you as Nathan like the post of someone who I don't know, it doesn't show up on my feed just because I know you. Because obviously I only made the choice to add you and not this other person because I only know you. But on LinkedIn, it's like, if I add you as a connection, it'll always show whose posts you like, and these people are not people I have in my circle. And it's like, you're seeing like a happy announcement one moment, like, hey, Nathan Baldwin like this. Oh, I'm so excited to start an MBA. And the next moment is like, Nathan Baldwin like this, who's another friend who just like announced their unemployment. It brings up so many emotions in you from people who you literally don't know.
Far less curated.
I hate it, Nathan.
Another thing we talked about, I don't think we've talked about this on the podcast yet. Kind of going to start winding down here, but plenty of time. MBAs. Your name, comma, MBA after your title. I do not have an MBA. I am, if you are a fan of the show, you know I'm going to law school. Actually, side note, exciting development for our listeners. I got into law school. Yay! Let's go. Accepted.
Clap, clap.
Accepted into one, so I know I'm going. Waiting for, I applied a lot. So waiting to hear back. So I'm going to law school. That's a Doctor of Jurisprudence degree.
Love that.
I'm not getting MBA. But I'll gatekeep on this. Do not put your name, comma, MBA.
Yeah.
Master's degrees accepted like... No, I'll say outright. Master's degrees do not... Those initials do not belong after your name.
It should be that.
It should be doctor. Because my logic is, the reason you put your doctoral degree afterwards, right, is if you're in an academic setting, right? And, for instance, you come up to me and say, Dr. Baldwin, right?
It's something
A
in
doctor of jurisprudence, a doctor of medicine, and a doctor of philosophy studying ancient history are three very different things to differentiate. And with a situation where you would be calling someone doctor, you are likely where those people are all together.
Right.
If you're in an office building, one, you don't call people, a special title, and two, a lot of them have MBAs. There's no point in doing it, and it's stupid. If I want to know what your master's degree was, I'd scroll down to your education.
That's so true. And it's like, putting MBA there is like almost implying that MBA is like higher than like other master's degrees, which is like not true.
I've seen masters of public health, masters of science. I've seen other ones. Of course, LinkedIn is just business focused, so you see a lot more MBAs.
Yeah.
But still, I don't know. Masters, I don't think should go tile. I don't care. Fight me professional.
And like, think about it. Like, okay, if somebody puts doctor after the name, that's fine. Because then every time I think of this person, I'm like, oh, like Nathan Baldwin, doctor. So I'm like, I'm going to call him Dr. Nathan or whatever. Not me. I'm not going to call you doctor. But for other people, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, MBA XYZ.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah. In most circumstances, also, just to clarify, we do know, in most cases, people with lawyers, JDs, do Esquire afterwards. We don't have time to get into the history of it, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, don't put masters. And even worse, I've seen people put bachelor's degrees.
Stop. That's the limit.
Please, if you are listening and you get nothing else, please get a doctor if you want. That is great.
No, if you get nothing else, don't make your job your personality.
Don't make your job your personality. Don't make your degree personality. Do not put BA next to your name after you graduate college.
And do not treat people who don't have LinkedIn as lesser than you because they're actually smarter than you because their identity is not defined by what 10,000 people comment on like some small achievement in their life.
Not even LinkedIn. Doctor titles are there to differentiate between the different types of doctors who all go by the title doctor. Your MBA or your BSBA or your Bachelor's of Arts or whatever doesn't make you special.
It doesn't.
You can be special as an individual, but that is separate from whatever credentials you put next to your name.
Yeah. I feel like this needs to be this episode on its own of like how you can be special without things defining you.
Finding purpose in life.
That's not something we can do because have we done that ourselves?
Nope.
Exactly. But, stop doing that. Like, literally stop. I don't know what else there is to say. Like, you can treat LinkedIn as like, oh, I want to just announce this and then leave it at that. But don't keep going back for the comments and the likes because the truth is, irrespective of whether 0 people commented or like 10,000 did, you achieved this. It's your achievement and you deserve to be proud of it. I think we as a culture need to stop, relying so much on external validation for things that we've achieved without the help of all these people.
Also, reading by LinkedIn, this isn't necessarily a critique of LinkedIn itself. You remember how spread out America is?
Yeah.
Because where is Anna, Ohio?
What?
I've lived in Ohio most of my life. I cannot tell you where that is. It's just amazing how spread out people get. That's not even really a critique. It's just...
Yeah. This adds to my point. Did you need to know about someone getting a position in Anna, Ohio? No, you did. But LinkedIn just loves promoting friends of friends of friends of friends. This isn't a frat party. Nothing's coming out of this. Please stop.
No. I've never gotten a job anything from LinkedIn. Have you?
A job what?
Like a job interview or offer? Nope. Don't use LinkedIn.
And it's completely fine if you get it. Again, we're not bashing LinkedIn. We're bashing the norms that have come into place.
I'll bash LinkedIn itself.
With LinkedIn. I mean, of course, I bash its existence, but like now that people, like some people who listen may have gotten jobs and interviews, like we're obviously not going to invalidate that thing.
Support the people, criticize the culture.
Yeah.
Put down a t-shirt.
Technology, social media just needs to go off. I think I could make every alternate episode about social media and I still wouldn't stop talking about how we really don't need it.
We just start every week. We just do a 45-minute.
I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. Everybody knows that. But hey, at the end of the day, your achievements matter. You do you. Please. Okay, you know what? I've seen so many people who wake up, and this used to be me a long time ago. check their email, and the first thing they do is open LinkedIn from the notification that they got on their email. And it's like, imagine a kid, okay? Imagine a kid who's 5, or not 5, that's too young. Imagine a kid who's 12, who's just given a math exam, doesn't know if they like math or not, and then they wake up and the first thing their mom comes in and yells at them and is like announces the math grades of everybody else in that class. That's literally what you're doing to your brain by checking LinkedIn first thing in the morning. You're not sure about your field. You don't know what is happening in life. You don't know if you're like living in a mental... You don't know if you're living in a video game or whatever. But no, you want to wake up. The first thing you want to do is make yourself feel bad about your achievements because other people are doing it.
It's overly comparing yourself to other people's when everyone is on their own timeline. Harrison Ford. I watched Indiana Jones last night again.
Love that.
Harrison Ford was 39 when that movie came out.
39?
39. And it's Harrison Ford. He can get, like...
Thank you. Thank you, Nathan. I think we need to mark this episode explicit.
We always do. But everyone's on your own path. We don't need to know. We don't need a hyper share. Is that a word? Hyper share?
It is now.
It is now. Someone put that in Oxford Dictionary. Make sure byline created by Nathan Baldwin, the Leo Lens podcast.
No, literally. I don't know what to say. Just stop, guys. Stop. And like, okay, maybe announce it once to just like, give people the sense that, oh, I've graduated and I'm doing a job. But don't keep telling us when you quit. Don't tell us your personal feelings on why you think you quit. Don't express your emotions about the person or the company who fired you. Stop.
Yeah.
These are things that are meant to go to your therapist in a diary or to your best friends over a text message. Not the place where you could potentially be hired by another company who may work very similarly to your previous company.
That's not even exclusive to LinkedIn. A lot of people need to hear the message. Stop sharing it on your feed. Share it with a therapist.
That's so true.
We're making that a quote this week.
Yeah. That is so true. I'm literally writing this down. So if you hear something, that's what it is.
Hyper share. Stop sharing it on your feed. Share it with a therapist.
No, literally. This is so funny. I don't think I've like, except the birthday episode, I don't think so many feelings have like risen in me while doing it.
Fired up. I don't even know if it conveyed across as well as we know each other.
Yeah.
Are fired up on this.
The funny thing is, I feel usually when you and I like are done recording an episode, like we're exhausted. I swear once we're done recording this episode, Nathan and I are going to still continue scrolling to his LinkedIn and be like, we should have mentioned this. This is exactly what they shouldn't do.
I'm being productive. I'm getting dinner and going to the gym. I'm hyped up. I'm going to use this energy.
Where are you going for dinner?
Study.
Okay, love that. I thought Chipotle.
I got Chipotle this week.
Sponsor us anyways.
Please. Chipotle sponsor the Leo Lens podcast.
We love Chipotle.
We need them to be listening to us so they get on our feed.
And get this, guys. I don't think you and I would ever make a LinkedIn like account for the Leo Lens.
Nope.
I know a lot of people do that, but we wouldn't. You would never see us on LinkedIn.
Nope. If we are on LinkedIn, report to us because that is not us. All of our official, I feel like here's a good place to end and we'll segue into what we do have. Follow us, the Leo Lens podcast. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple for all you true podcast listeners. We are on YouTube. If you are hearing this on YouTube, you are behind the other podcast people.
Yes.
So go follow us there. You'll hear it a few days earlier because now you're at the whim of me needing to upload it and I'm lazy.
And also, I know I usually say share our episode, but I feel like this episode especially because I feel like I met a few of my listeners when I went back home this winter break and they were like around our age, like getting like the job scene and everything. And I'm like, I think this really affects a lot of us, but this is something we don't talk about because we think it's trivial, but it's not.
This is a good
episode.
Hopefully a conversation starter to share. I will lose my mind if I see this online and see people being like, I really agree with what they did. That will be I made it.
And if you want to cancel us, cancel us. We just want to share our opinion that LinkedIn is not worth it.
I'm uncancelable. I don't care.
No, I don't care either, honestly. And also, Just imagine, guys. Just imagine being 45, 50, and your kid's friend comes to you and you talk about your work history with a lemonade under the sunshine below a tree. Just that's so much better than some person seeing you in the middle of like the night at 2 a.m. and being like, oh, Nathan's friend's friend started work as like an aircraft operator, aka a pilot. Like, I'm done. I'm done. That's what I want to say on this.
Follow us on all of our social media. Follow us on YouTube. Smash that like button. Follow us on the podcast platforms wherever you get your podcast. If we're not on that podcast platform, shoot us a message and we'll get there.
We will.
And next week, we'll see you back here again. In the meantime,
have a good one. Whatever that was.
I was saying up Sakshi and you were a catchphrase of, this is not a parasocial relation.
In the meanwhile, this is Sakshi.
And I'm Nathan.
And this is not a parasocial relationship. So, like, share all you want, text us. Till then, like, share, subscribe, and have an amazing week.
Well, this is our first week back, people. I promise it will get better. All right. Bye.
Bye.